Good morning, beautiful people. Marie Alessi here with a new series called Meaningful Mindset. I have to say, I am so grateful to my team of moderators. So, my very first shout out before I go into today's topic, who supports you, I want to say thank you to the 5 women who supported me over the last 3 weeks in this group. I am forever grateful that I had the opportunity because I've got such an amazing mod squad, my moderator team of 5 women, who have looked after you guys here, who've looked after this group, who have been there with love and support and answers and suggestions and all the likes to be there for you to run this group on my behalf while I was literally taking 3 weeks off to nurture myself, to give myself a lot of love and support. And the one thing that I noticed, and that was my spontaneous decision to take 3 weeks off, was that in those 22 months that I have run this group, I have not once taken time off, apart from the one day that I allowed myself to be screen free, if anybody remembers that. So, in a nutshell, I just knew, hi Marie, I'm not really sure who that is. I can see comments, but I don't know who it is. So, thank you so much for being here. I was really looking forward to my first live after 3 weeks. I almost had deprivation of not going live every day, and I really had to stop myself from going into the group because I just really needed to step away, reevaluate, reassess. And that to me was really looking after myself, supporting myself. So, to my 5 women, Linda Wessels, Linda Pearson, Terry Mattison Davis, Shalina, um, dun dun dun, I have missed one. Kay Bailey, of course. So Shalina Stephenson, Kay Bailey, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you for what you've done, that you've been there for me, for the group. You have been absolutely amazing. I have yet to go back into the group and actually read through a lot of the posts and comments that have been happening. Yet, I want to start with today's topic. I have decided to do a regular check in with you every Monday morning. I want to do this to go live for like half an hour roughly. Choose a topic that I literally pick from the group, something that comes up for me in the group that I feel needs to be addressed. And thank you so much. I see the comments, I don't know who's saying that. So it's, oh, Shalina. It's Shalina. Yay. Hey, Shalina. So I choose a topic from things that come up in the group to really help you kickstart the week with a positive mindset and really help you make it a little bit more meaningful for you. A lot of people that have experienced adversity in their life struggle with finding purpose again, struggle with finding something meaningful again, and I'm here to help you with suggestions and to help you with your mindset. Is that okay? So give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a yay, Marie, say something in the comments that shows me that you're okay with that, because I really want to do that on a weekly basis now. So today's topic, who's there to support you? This was a really, really huge question for me in the last 2.5 years, actually, since Rob passed. And in particular, also when things like that happen, where I'm like, I need time out. And not everybody is as blessed as I am to have a team of 5 moderators to do everything for them. But also when it comes to friends and family. So there are a couple of things that I would love to share with you, and I will run through a few different topics, so bear with me. The number one thing, friends and family. Friends and family is something that can change a lot in terms of how we deal with them and how they address us after having experienced this adversity in our lives. So for me, there is this question of, are they actually supportive of my healing, or are they supportive of me staying stuck in grief? And both can happen. So I'm reaching out to you to understand how to differentiate and how to learn a difference, and how to deal with friends and family members that are not quite supportive of your healing. And here comes Chica. Of course, she has to be part of this. Yes, meow, hello. And yeah, moving on. This is not your showtime here. So, when it comes to friends and family, I am very blessed that I have got Rob's family who've been very supportive of me. Yet they were also not quite sure how to deal with me because I seem, as most of you know, to handle grief very differently to most people I know. So, in particular, having Italian background, there was a lot of expectation of dealing the old-fashioned way, as in wearing black and not dating for 1 to 10 years, and quite old-fashioned. It was never said to me, well, maybe in the slightest way it was actually, but it was the expectation that I could feel, and it was the gobsmacked reaction when I was in a good space, when I was happy, that people seem to not know how to deal with that. A lot of people thought, oh, well, she's still in denial. She's probably still in shock. She can't possibly be happy. Well, I can because I worked on it. And it was really important to me to work on that, to not only for myself, but also to teach my boys how to do that, because that was the one promise that I made to Rob, that if something was ever to happen to us, that I would do anything and everything in my mind and in my power to create a happy and healthy life for the boys and myself. I would have expected the exact same thing of Rob, to not stay stuck in suffering, to go out and live his life in the most happiest way possible. And that, yes, includes dating as well. We actually openly talked about it. It was never said as in, oh, when I die, just go out and find another woman, find another man. That was not what we said to each other, but it was that when I looked at Rob, he was so full of love, and we had such a strong connection, and our whole life was about love and connection, that I just could not possibly imagine Rob staying alone for the rest of his life. So it was not for him to run out and replace me in any way, because that, of course, is not possible. But it was for him to not stay alone and to really have his love to go somewhere, and also for the boys to have additional love in their life. I really wanted them to have a sort of mother figure in their life if something would have happened to me, and it was the exact same thing the other way around. So for me, um, I want to say to you, do anything and everything you can to create the life that you want. And what happens is that we often stay so stuck in looking at the life that we had, that we can't see the opportunity and what lays ahead of us. We cannot see what we can actually create because we are way too busy and way too preoccupied and way too stuck in looking at what we have lost, looking at the life that we had, and not being able or not allowing ourselves to go like, okay, this is, heartbreaking, and I get it because I've been there, and I'm not by any means trying to negate the severity and the heaviness of that pain that comes with losing a partner when a partner passes over, or God forbid, a child. But what I'm saying is that whatever you have experienced, there comes a time, and only you know when that is right. That can happen within days and weeks, and that can happen within years. But you know in your heart when there comes a time when it is time to look at what you actually want in life and to be able to create that. I'm not saying it's easy, but there are simple steps that you can take. And I'll get to that in a little while as well, what I have to offer for that. And there are a few different things that I've prepared for you that I can't wait to share with you. So, when it comes to family and friends, again, I want you to be very mindful of feeling into and trusting your intuition around who is actually supportive of your healing, of your growth. Or are people more comfortable in consoling you and keeping you stuck in the suffering, in the pain, in the hurt, in the crying? So, here's what happens when you sit with somebody, any of your friends or family, and they sit with you, they listen to you. The one indicator that is very simple to use to find out whether they are supportive of you or not is the one question, the one very simple question you can ask yourself. After this interaction, do I actually feel lighter or heavier? Do I look and stare at the closed doors? And do I feel heavy about this person not being in my life? Or do I see doors opening up? And do I see light at the end of the tunnel? Do I see opportunities? Do I see choices and chances that I have in life, that we all have? It is just a matter of learning, teaching yourself, and allowing that to happen and that to come into your life. So I want to quickly read this comment, and I do need my glasses for that. So it's been almost 8 months, and I do feel as I am stuck in the loss. I still hurt so bad. I totally understand that. Unfortunately, I cannot see who's saying that. I can only read the comments. I've got no names with it. I don't know why, because I'm live streaming through Ecamm. I'm not directly live on Facebook, so that's why I'm not really sure who's saying that. So bear with me, because there's a lot that I can help you with. And I know that I can help you with because I've done it hundreds of times before. And this is what our group is built on offering you tools and techniques, on helping you through that. The one thing I want to say to you, so many people have got this, well, time will heal all wounds. And I'm telling you, that's absolute BS. That's just their belief system, because time doesn't heal any wounds. It is you. It is you deciding it, and it is you wanting it. So for those stuck in grief, I need to, hand on your heart, openly ask you, do you want to heal? And very often, surprisingly, the answer is no. And the reason why that is that we feel if we were to heal, we are dishonoring the person that has passed, which couldn't be further from the truth. Our healing honors their living. Does that make sense? When we heal and when we move forward, in terms of moving forward for us, not leaving them behind. We cannot leave somebody behind who has passed over. Does that make sense? We cannot leave somebody behind who has passed over, because they are there for eternity. I truly believe that they are with us at all times. There is no leaving anyone behind when we move forward. It is not the question, yet so often we feel like that because that's what society taught us. So I want you to really understand that. When you move forward, when you say yes to your life, when you say yes to let me find out what I can do with my life right now, you're not dishonoring anyone. You're honoring yourself. And I can promise you, your loved one couldn't be any prouder of you than watching you do that. So there are a lot of tools, and I'm happy to teach you all of those. I don't want to get sidetracked with putting too many tools in here, because they'll be available to you very, very soon. And again, I'll come to that. But when we talk about friends and family, there's one experience that I had very, very recently, and I want to share that with you. And it was absolutely mind blowing, because I have started this really amazing, amazing program with Tanya Badii, who's in this group also, and I've interviewed her a few weeks ago. And she runs the program Body EQ, and it is all about tuning into your body again, learning to love your body again, to nurture your body. And the whole weight loss is an absolute side product of it. It's not the main reason for why I'm doing this. It is to honor myself, to nurture myself, to look after myself, and to relearn what I actually need. And in this process, there were various layers. Like every single session I had with Tanya so far, I had massive epiphanies. One of the epiphanies that I had was that from my maternal grandmother, I have received this message, not by her telling me, but by leading by example. I have really adopted this belief that if I want to be someone, I have to be bigger and better. And that has really manifested in my life in a not so healthy way. So when I dug deeper, like literally dug deeper, and looked at my roots and where I come from, I thought, how interesting. All I saw was a whole line of women in my maternal uh, ancestor line that were heavily overweight. And I'm not really sure where that came from. Yet for me, what I had picked up was the belief if you want to be someone, you have to be bigger and better. And that, of course, can easily lead to being overweight. And I'm not using it as an excuse. I'm using it as a now understanding and explanation of what had happened in my life. So when I dug deeper, I actually noticed that one thing I had completely overlooked, and that is the fact that my maternal grandparents, both of them, in particular my grandmother, but both of them, had a really high and educated status in society, way above average for their time. My grandmother was way ahead of her time. She founded a magazine called Die Mutter in German, which is the mother, and wrote articles about that. She was the chief editor of the magazine as well, and wrote columns after columns for various publications. She's been extremely educated, very wise and very educated woman. She had her own doctor, I think, in literacy, I'm not really sure. And I started Googling her, and all of a sudden I was absolutely gobsmacked by what I found on the internet about my maternal grandparents. My grandfather as well, he had some really high position in the education sector, and everybody just looked up to them. They were this power couple, and I was absolutely in awe of them. So, somewhere along the line, I have picked up this very unhealthy belief to be someone, you have to be bigger and better. And now I realized that I have never connected to these really powerful roots that I have from my ancestor line. And this is my choice. This is my decision right now to actually allow to connect with this powerful wisdom that I have access to through my ancestor line. I know this is quite airy fairy and out there for some of you, and that's absolutely okay. And I know that there are a lot of you in here that totally get what I'm talking about. So, what I want you to do is look around in your family and dig a little bit deeper for those in your family who you look up to. What is the message that you have taken on board? Is it helping you? Are you taking the healthy parts of that? Are you taking the unhealthy parts of that, like I have? Is it time to let go of them right now? And really reconnect to those things that they have brought into your life that are inspiring, empowering, and really work with that for a little bit more. If they're still around, if you're lucky enough, reconnect with them, talk to them, spend time with them, talk about what was inspiring. You would be surprised how proud they are of you. And if they're not around, that's absolutely fine. You know, if they're not around anymore, like my grandmother passed in our house when I was 12. I still remember her laying in this bed so peacefully after her battle with life. The last 1.5 years of her life were a true battle for her health wise. So, having had this influence in my life, I really wanted to ask myself, what has that made me? And how has that influenced me? And how can I choose to really reconnect to those powerful roots full of wisdom and allow that into my life, allow that to guide me, allow that to strengthen me, and own that? So, friends, tick. Family, tick. Ancestor lines, tick. Let's look at your co-workers. I want you to do the exact same thing with your co-workers. If you are at work, some of you might not be back at work yet, and that's okay. Those of you who are back at work, how supportive are your co-workers? Because co-workers are often the ones that are completely lost for words, that don't know how to support you through this. If somebody in your family has just passed and then you come back to work, they're very often lost for words. They don't know what to say, and often say not so supportive comments to you. So, how do you deal with that? I want you to allow yourself to literally step back from those that are not healthy for you, or also allow yourself to actually say to them that this is not helpful, or tell them what you actually need. That can be very confronting. It's not always easy. Yet sometimes it is really helpful for them if you tell them what you need, and also then for you, because you don't always have to deal with whatever they do every single day, because that can be very confronting and it can be an ongoing thing. So I'm saying to you, dare to tell them what you need and dare to tell them when something is not helpful. Sometimes that can be done through a little post-it note, sometimes that can be done directly. It depends on who you are, how you tick, how you work. Yet consider it. Consider voicing what you really need. I'm going to have to put my glasses back on to read those comments. So I have been doing a family genealogy for a few years and have found out a lot. Sorry, welcome back. Again, I don't know who says that. I would love to hear what it is that you have found. What have you found out about your family? Was it helpful? Was it not? I'd really love to hear from you. So, again, back to the co-workers. And by the way, if you're watching this live, please give me a hashtag live. And if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. Very, very simple. It helps with the Facebook algorithm. So if you do that, then Facebook will love what we do here and will actually get a lot more people to see this video as well. So you are helping others in this group to see this video more often if you actually comment and participate in this. And I really encourage you to do that, because I also want to hear where you stand and what you need. Please feel free to reach out and tell me what support you actually need. Hashtag live. Yay, thank you. Let me see. I've got my little note section here so I don't forget anything. Yeah. Okay, so co-workers, exactly. I want you to think about even your boss. You know, if you are not the boss in your company or whatever job you have, if you have co-workers, you can really reach out to them and tell them how you feel and what is helpful and what is not. Because believe me, it is helpful for them to actually, Bonnie, hey, it is helpful for them to actually know how they can support you. Because believe me, we've all been there before we have experienced this adversity in our lives. We might have been in situations where we were lost for words and didn't really know what to say when we heard of somebody passing in our circle of friends or family, and we stand there with this person or even at the funeral, and who has experienced these condolences lines. I find them, to be honest, quite shocking. And please don't get me wrong, everybody's different. A lot of people do need that, and there's also a lot of tradition around that. I did not have that at my husband's funeral because, for the one simple reason, I wanted. Sorry out there. I have my doors open and I'm looking out into this luscious green, beautiful environment. I'll post a photo later so you see what I'm actually looking at here. But I decided not to have a condolences line after my husband's funeral to protect my boys. They were 10 and 8 when Rob passed, and I remember all too well when my dad passed, I was 20, and having to stand through the condolences line with literally hundreds of people saying the same thing over and over again. I, with all due respect, could have literally, no, I'm not going to say that out loud because it's not very respectful, but it was not nice what I felt and what I wanted to do. Absolutely not. And it was not very respectful, yet I was really overwhelmed in the most negative way by this condolences line, and I was 20. So I thought there's no way on earth that I would do that to my boys being 10 and 8. Can you imagine there were 500 plus people at Rob's funeral? If every single one of them would have wanted to hug them and say something to them, that is probably not helping them in their healing journey. It would have been manifesting their grief, their hurt, their pain, and it would have added to it, and the pile would have gotten bigger and bigger, and they would have potentially or most likely drowned in that pile. And I thought, no way on earth will I allow this to happen to my boys. So I was very proud of myself to stand my ground and to not allow the condolences line, because, you know, being from a very traditional Italian background family, like my father-in-law is Italian, bless him, I love him dearly, and my mother-in-law is Mauritian, and I absolutely adore this couple. They are so beautiful and the most beautiful example of love. They still sit on the couch together holding hands when they watch TV nowadays. And that to me is really beautiful. Yet the tradition of the condolences line was not acceptable for me to protect my boys. So we had a wake afterwards, and the wake was full of joy and beautiful memories. It was literally a celebration of Rob's life, and that's exactly what I wanted. It went so much better than I could have ever expected from something like that. I remember my heart was full of joy, and I spent hours to be able to literally talk to everybody in this room. I did the rounds, and all I heard were beautiful memories and stories told about Rob. And there was so much laughter and so much love and happiness in the room that I thought, oh my God, Rob would so love that. And I know he's had a blast watching all of this happen. And so the number one thing to me is whenever you have to make a decision, what you do or don't allow into your life is you can literally close your eyes for 2 seconds and feel into it. Will that make me feel lighter, or will that make me feel heavier? That's as simple as it goes to make a decision whether you allow somebody or something into your life or not. That's as easy and as simple as it gets. Is this going to make me feel lighter, or is this going to make me feel heavier? And the same goes for your decision on how to handle your grief. It is your journey, and it can be your grieving journey, it can be your healing journey, and often those two go hand in hand. You don't have to choose one over the other. Just because you choose for your life to become meaningful in a different way doesn't mean that you can't cry, that you can't grieve in your own way. But refrain from those who want to press you into a form, into a stigma of how we are supposed to grieve, how we are supposed to cry or be held back in our own journey. It is your choice. So, what's going to happen? I want to leave you with one simple question. What is it that you actually want? And I understand that a lot of you watching this would just really fill in the blanks with the name of their loved ones. I understand that. Yet we all know that none of us has got a magical wand to make that happen. And when a life is over, it is not for us to wish it back. Sorry, that came across very wrong. Of course, you can wish it back. There's no questions asked around that, but it's not in our power to do that. But what lies in our power is what we do with our lives. And that is something that I would love to give back to you. That power of knowing what to do with your life. Not in terms of me telling you what that is, but in terms of me guiding you through that creative process and get you to that point where you find out and you feel and you know what it is that you actually want. And I'm more than happy to support you in this. How am I going to do this? There are two ways of how I'm going to do this. Well, actually, three ways, and there's a lot more, but I'm going to focus on those three. One, there is the group here. You've made it into this group, and this group is an amazing support network. And I will do anything and everything in my power to keep it that way. That means that I'll also be very aware of the posts that are coming into this group. And this group has been created for the purpose of loving life after loss. So, for whatever it means, when people post something that will have a negative impact on others, that is just about venting and just about keeping people stuck, then please, please, I beg you, do this in other grief groups. There are uncountable grief groups out there who are all just about the venting, about the just how bad your life is, how sad your life is. I don't want this in this group. We've all been through so much trauma and hurt and pain that this group should not be about keeping you stuck there, about just sharing that. It's okay to vent every now and then. It's okay to let people know, hey, I'm not having a good day. That's not what I'm talking about. But if there's an ongoing thread about this is not getting better, this is really hard, this is really this, and there are people in this group and programs and tools offered to you for love and support for healing purposes, then you've got two choices. You either open your heart and you take it in and allow people to help you, or you can find a different group where you can really choose to stay in this stuckness. And I mean that with a lot of love and respect to you, and in particular also everybody else in this group. I want this group to be about healing, about love and support. And another little side note, I have got it in my group rules, but I need to put a reminder out there. Everyone's faith is different in this group. I want you to respect that. This group is not about posting religious posts every single day. There are also groups for that. This group is about loving life after loss. So I want us to focus on the healing. And that, to me, is the most important thing. If you have daily devotions to post from a religious point of view, please do that in religious groups. There are a lot of them out there. I'm not saying we are or we are not, but what I'm saying is we are a group that is all about healing. And when it comes to only religious posts, then I will have to remove them because there are people there who take offense by that or feel pushed out by that because their belief is different. And I want us to be acceptant of that. Everyone in this group has the right to express their faith in a different way, but please make it about love, support, and healing, and not just religious posts, and not just the suffering, the hurt, if that makes sense. If there's anything that offends you or you're not really clear on, please reach out to me. You don't just have to leave the group straight away. Reach out to me, send me a PM, or talk to any one of my admins or moderators, and we're all here to talk you through this, okay? Number 2, there is my beautiful healing journey from grief to relief that started off as a free, then paid, then DIY journey. What I want to do is I want to make this available to everyone in this group. So over the next couple of weeks, bear with me because there's a lot going on now. I've been away for 3 weeks, so there's a lot to catch up on that I'm creating at the moment. But over the next couple of weeks, I want to read this again. Sorry. Thank you so much for all of this, Marie. You are very welcome, whoever you are. I don't know who that is. I have to go back later and see who all these comments were made from. So, number 2, the healing journey from grief to relief will be available as units in this group. So I'm going to amend the group in a way to set it to a learning group, which means that I can add units to it where everyone who comes into this group can actually go through this healing journey, and you can do that in your own time. The videos will be posted there. You can go through the journey, you can comment on the journey, and if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. And number 3, last but not least, in the 3 weeks that I've been away, there has been something brewing that I cannot wait to share with you, because shortly before I went on a break, I came out with a new program called Choosing Joy. And as soon as I put it out on the market, as soon as I offered it, I all of a sudden had this feeling, this is not strong enough. This is too airy-fairy. This is not direct enough. And I realized the one thing that was missing is for people who have gone through so much hurt and pain and feel stuck in their loss, stuck in the grieving, to actually see the opportunity that comes with this adversity. Every adversity also brings opportunity, yet it's the hardest and most challenging part for those who feel stuck in their loss, in their grief, to actually see that. So I've completely restructured and amended and added to this program to make it a lot more powerful and really a beautiful guide to creating this opportunity. And the name of this program is called Blank Canvas, because that's what you actually have in front of you right now. And some of you can already see that, others don't see it yet. Yet we all have it. We all get handed a blank canvas with every adversity. And it is up to you what you do with it. If you just put it in a corner if you actually take it and stare at it, which a lot of artists do. They stare at the blank canvas for a long time before they start taking out colours and start painting. That is my dog going absolutely nuts because there's a water dragon on our driveway and she can see it but can't come down. And I want to lead you and guide you through this creative process of starting to draw on this blank canvas and really see that as the beautiful gift that it is. There is always hidden gifts in adversity. So if that's something that you feel drawn to, that speaks to you, then I ask you to put blank canvas in the comments below so I know to reach out to you. And what happens from there on is we book a chat, a very quick chat, 10 minutes, to see if it's actually a fit for you or not. And if it is, we're going to talk further. Is that a deal? I'd love to help you through this. That's what I'm here for. So for today, thank you so much for joining me. As I said, I'll be doing this on a regular basis from now on. I went a little bit over time today because I got overexcited of being back after 3 weeks. And I'm aiming to do this for half an hour every Monday morning, Sydney time, 9:30 till 10, and literally pick a topic each week for a meaningful mindset to help you through this. I'm here for you. This is Maria Leslie signing off. Bye for now.